Today I'm going to give you a really good run through of what the Maronan project is. Not so much the company, but what the project is and how it impacts the future of the company. So the Maronan deposit, it is large. If you try and put this into some figures that you might get your head around it, it's potentially a 4 million ounce gold equivalent type deposit. So there's not too many of them floating around that are not developed. It's 200 odd million ounces of silver equivalent, but really in situ, it's a polymetallic, and not every polymetallic deposit is equivalent. So I'm just going to give you the facts as to why we think this is a really good one. It's a couple of million tonnes of lead, 120 million ounces of silver, 270,000 tonnes of copper, and 760,000 ounces of gold contained in 60 million tonnes of rock. There it is under Sydney, and if we spin it up the other way, we've got about 1 kilometre along strike and about 1.2 kilometres of depth that has been defined in this deposit. It's a high-grade silver deposit. It's 100 grams per tonne silver, and with that about 5% lead. And then quite separately we have another copper-gold ore body which will come into play later in the project's development. Let's be frank, this is going to be a mine. It's going to be one of Queensland's next big mines, and I'm going to tell you why. It's in a district where mines are built, so it's 60 kilometres south of Cloncurry. There's some big operations there. We're in a great jurisdiction. I would say Tier 1A. The Queensland Government are working really hard to permit things, and we've got to give a big shout out to the Critical Minerals Group that are part of DMR in Queensland. They've been a huge help to us. They have helped us permit an exploration decline, so we've converted part of our exploration tenement. We only have the one tenement, we only have one project, and all the metals in one deposit. They've helped us permit a mineral development licence in under 12 months, 6 months of that to get the environmental approvals to put the exploration decline in. So that's sitting there ready to execute. We've cobbled together is not really the right word. Richard and I have drawn on the experience of people that we've known. Some of them work for themselves, some of them are smaller independent contractors, but these guys are experts in their own right. So we've got a great geology, mining, geotech, permitting and environmental and metallurgy team, and have recently brought on board Mark Brown, who's our compliance and contracts manager, and Mark has 40 years of experience in the mining industry in Queensland, having worked as a mill operator all the way through to a project manager. So we've got a great team, we've got some great consultants that are helping us, but down in the bottom right corner is the Muller family, Maronan Station owners, 120,000 acre cattle property. This family is great, they've been great to work with and provide us a lot of logistical support in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Metallurgy, this is the big part of why not all polymetallics are equivalent. For us, we can make a particularly great, a very high grade lead silver concentrate, greater than 70% lead and greater than 1,500 grams per tonne silver. It's very much a deleterious element free concentrate. Recoveries are good, lead greater than 90%, silver greater than 90%. It's a fantastic ore to float and very energy efficient. The copper flotation is also very good, exceeding 90% copper recoveries, and just recently, as we've announced, we've made some great inroads in the recovery of gold into that copper concentrate. It's also of good quality, very marketable, 23 to 27% copper and 10 to 15 gram per tonne gold credit. So both very good products for us to build from this operation. We've been building this one step at a time, and the big part of it, when you look at this, this deposit, is very amenable to underground mining. We have an average mining width of 9 metres, and it's averages for, well, it's from 3 to plus 20 metres in width. It'll be mined with paste fill. What we've done here is the small square called the starter zone. In October last year, we released a preliminary economic assessment or scoping study on that for a 1.2 million tonne per annum processing operation. and it has a lot of opportunity to further increase that in terms of scale, and this will be a 20-year plus mine. We've got great metal exposures, being silver, and the silver lead really underpins the start of this project. Let's look at some economics, and this is why this is so important to Maronan Metals. So the starter zone is 20% or 22% of the global mineral resource, about a $260 to $70 million capex to build a process and start an underground mine. We start stoping about 100 metres below surface. It has an NPV8 of $377 million, and we're looking at a silver price of US dollars 36 per ounce. We're quite a bit different to that today. So if we run some PEA sensitivity and look at spot pricing as of yesterday, and it's even changed overnight already, and this is spot pricing for all of those metals, that NPV is closer to $1 billion and a 77% IRR. And more importantly, we're paying the capex back in less than 3 years from the day we start spending it. So it's a significant project, and we're only looking at 20% of the mineral resource, so there's lots of room to grow. It's very strongly leveraged to silver. At the PEA pricing, 53% of the revenue is from silver, but you can see what happens as that silver price goes up. It is a silver project. So if you're keen on silver, and you should be, Maronan Metals is a good place for you to look at investing. What is the true potential though? It's a lot more, and this is what we're working on currently. We have 2 rigs on surface drilling 24/7, and we're setting about to expand that mineral resource so we can look at a PFS towards the end of this year or into early 2027. You'll also see the trace, the declines. The exploration decline would be a very important part of us getting through to financial investment decision, and we'll be looking to finance that and get that as operational as soon as we possibly can. The pathway to development looks like this. Certainly a couple of ticks at the top there. We started surface drilling again after a very wet season. We got permitted our mineral development licence. We're looking at opportunities to start the box cut and decline, and that includes having gathered tenders from mining contractors. The drilling is underway with 2 rigs, and we have a lot of feasibility study activity in play. There's lots of samples, metallurgical samples in the laboratory now that are undergoing testing. Geotech work is still ongoing. We're doing a lot of work to start towards applying for a mining licence. We'll meet with government departments in June and discuss a pathway forward for a mining operation. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. There'll be a lot of news flow over the course of the year from drill results, from metallurgical results, and from the start of our permitting pathways. So please keep abreast of what Maronan Metals is up to. Why is it a good investment proposition? Well, if I haven't convinced you so far, we have great leverage to silver. We have a defined development pathway. That little starter zone, 20% of the mineral resource, has very robust economics. So that alone is a great way to get this project started into production. It doesn't have a huge capital development for the type of project it is, and we've assembled some great people to help us get it on track. So no bull, real silver and real scale. And thank you very much for your time today.